TV streaming, we've got a little bit more meat and potatoes here, but not much. We have Daryl Dixon show finally comes out of hiding for The Walking Dead. Forward momentum on the Friday the 13th TV show as well. Plus, a Red Band trailer drops for Terminator Zero, and then we've got a little bit more to talk about, so let's dive right in. Hello, nerds! This is the weekly TV news show. Not like the evening news with Tom Brokaw. No, nothing like that. This has more to do with TV shows, nerdy-oriented TV shows, as well as episodic content that you will find on streaming platforms. If this is your kind of thing, then you can check out the full episode that I like to call The Week in Nerddom that covers all spectrum of pop culture and just generally nerdy things over on the main channel. You can find it linked down in the description or at the end of this video. All of that being said, let's talk about TV shows and nerdy stuff like that. All right. So, TV shows, here we are. We do not have, we do have follow-ups. This is actually the big follow-up because I made a statement last week that I was uncertain of, so we have to follow up on that. And it has to do with the new Secret Level anthology series over on Amazon Prime that's coming out soon. I said last week it did not seem, because of the very specific vocabulary they were using when describing this new series, it did not seem that it was going to be tied directly to the inspiration IPs that they're pulling from. Well, I was incorrect. So the correction here is it will be canon. They will be pulling directly from these IPs, and they're more than just inspiration. They are the basis for some of these stories. Not all of the stories in the series are going to be directly related to some sort of gaming franchise, but it seems like a good chunk, if not most of them will be. So that is your correction. We do have some follow-ups as well. The first one for following up on is Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 2. Will be officially called The Book of Carol. Will premiere Sunday, September 9th at 8 p.m. from 8 to 10. This is going to be technically two different things. We have a featurette, a snippet, something, a tease, if you will, that is going to be an extended tease. It's going to show us what we are to expect for this season from the Daryl Dixon show, which is kind of cool, but then the great part is it seems like it's going to be an extended opening episode for season 2. And yes, please and thank you, because Walking Dead is probably some of the best horror franchise stuff, live action, that you're going to get outside of the Haunting series over on Netflix. So yeah, absolutely here for it. I'm super stoked. I can't wait for September 29th. Let's move on though, because our next one is also rather large. Not as much detail on this one yet though. Friday the 13th, the prequel series that is going to Peacock finally has a showrunner. We have a production staff in place, so the upper-ups are there, but now we have a director, if you will, and somebody who's going to steer the ship. So that showrunner is Brad Kane. If that name sounds vaguely familiar, it should, because he's also doing work on the prequel to the It franchise called Welcome to Derry over on Max. So he's got a little bit of experience, though we don't know how good of a job he's done with Welcome to Derry, because that one's not out yet either, though that one is much closer than the Friday the 13th prequel series. So that's what we got for follow-ups and corrections. Let's talk about trailers. We only got one trailer this week, and it's pretty solid. Terminator Zero dropped a new trailer just a couple of days before the series launches on Netflix. Also, if you're really digging it based off of this trailer, it's not in the notes right now, but I'll see if I can do it before we go to publish. There is the first 6 minutes of the first episode is also available to watch, though I'm sure if you Google or YouTube search it, you'll find it just fine. So yeah, absolutely does a lot to hype you up for the new Terminator animated series, because wow, that's what we got though for trailers. Let's move. No proper regular ass news or anything like that. We're just going straight into suggestions for the week. Speaking of Netflix, Preacher is now on Netflix, and that is your suggestion this week for TV streaming. Preacher ran for 3 seasons. It is an adaptation of another Garth Ennis book, and it's honestly super solid. It takes place largely in New Orleans, so there's a lot of really cool scenery, a lot of really cool places to be seen and stuff. Just a hell of a lot of fun, not just because Garth Ennis, but because we legitimately get some really good acting acting performances. Both of the leads, if I'm remembering this correctly, it's been a little while since I watched Caesar front to back, or Preacher rather, front to back, but pretty sure both of the leads are British. And you can't really detect it much. So they do a pretty good job with their delivery. Yeah, but Preacher's a hell of a lot of fun. That is your TV suggestion for the week, based on a comic book where a preacher goes to punch out God, basically. I don't know what else you need for that. Oh, also should be noted, I know I said it's available now on Netflix. Originally, or normally it's on Hulu. Don't know if it's currently on Hulu while it's on Netflix, but I mean, if you can't find it on Netflix, go check Hulu. That brings us to the end of the video, nerds. Thank you very much for joining me for the news. Once again, there is a full and probably much more up-to-date and recent episode of the news, the full-length version, if you will, called The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, linked down in the description, and probably link popping up somewhere around my face right about now. So click on that, go check that out as well, or if you prefer your news in more truncated pieces, then by all means just stick around here and go check out some of the other stuff we offer on this channel. Thank you very much for joining me. We will see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember, nerds, that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.